Hello Arcade family, we are here at Supreme Welding Academy, and today guys, like you've been asking for it, we are going to be doing a branch test, okay? And for that I got my boy Jorge Rocha here, and we got our 2-footers and our 1-footer ready. Let's do it. Alright George, what wall is this, bro? What are we going to be working with today?
This is a 375, schedule 375.
Schedule 375. Okay guys, we are going to be doing this with no template, okay? My boy Jorge Rocha, he's going to show you the whole procedure on how to do a branch test with no template. Let's do it.
Alright guys, I'm going to show you the basic stuff I take. This is what I call my lunch box. One thing I got in me, you got to have your blue book. You got to have a template, so when you cut it out, you also got to take some receipt paper. We got some soldering wire. I use this as spacers, and let's do it. Alright guys, before we get started, you go test and you get some of that green pipe. Make sure you get your helper to bump it at least 6 inches back. That way you won't have no complications when you do the layout. Alright guys, once your helper finish buffing back 6 inches, you're going to go ahead and get your measuring tape. From the end of the pipe, you're going to measure 5 inches. That's where we're going to put our wrap around and get our first line. Alright guys, now that we got our line, we're going to start working on our receipt paper. I'm going to show you how to get your 16 squares. Once you got it matching with your line, you're going to get a straight cut. Alright. This is trash. And this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to use to get our 16 squares. You're going to have to fold it 4 times. Make sure they're nice and even. Once you got it folded 4 times, let me see the blade. You're going to cut the corners. Cut the corners. Alright, now we got a 16 squares. Now what you gotta do, you gotta go back and match it with your line, your first line. Alright guys, once you got your receipt paper matching your first line, you gotta tape it up. Now we're gonna start marking our cuts. Alright guys, once you mark your cuts, you go ahead and remove that receipt paper. You can save it for the next test or do it all over. Alright guys, once you got your lines marked, it's always good to keep a piece of angle iron in your truck, 7 inches. So when test day, you don't gotta use those squares. All you gotta do is get your angle, match the lines, match it. Boom. We're gonna do that to all the marks. Alright guys, once you mark your lines, we're gonna start marking our points. So we're gonna start off at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're gonna go backwards. 3, 2, 1, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing. 3, 2, 1, 0. That's to mark all your 16 points. Then we're gonna go to our the pipe fitters blue book. That's what we're gonna use today. And you go to page 29, and it's gonna give you your measurements for number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And that's how you're gonna lay out your branch. So when you start right here, 0, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna measure from here out. Your number 1 is check it out.
7/16.
Yeah. Your number 1 is gonna be 7/16. So we're gonna get it right here. 7/16. Right there. Alright. Our next measurement is gonna be 1 5/8. You get it right here. You're gonna go 1 inch and then 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 right there. The next measurement is gonna be 3 1/4. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and 1/4. All right. Our next measurement is gonna be 4 1/4. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1/4. Right there. And we're gonna do the same measurements backwards. Number 3, it was 3 1/4. So we're gonna do it again. 1, 2, 3, and 1/4. Our number 2 was 1 5/8. So number 2. So it's 1, y luego 5/8. 5/8 right there. Our number 1 is 7/16. So we're gonna put it right there and go 7/16. Alright. We're gonna do the same thing throughout the whole pipe. You remember your number 0 is you don't put nothing right there at 0, and you measure out. Alright. Same thing, number 1, 7/8. 7/16. That's gonna be speed up right there. This is 1 5/8. 1 5/8. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and 1/4. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1/4. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, and 1/4. 2 is 1 and 5/8. 1 and 5/8. Alright. Plus 7/16. And 0. Alright guys, once you got all your points and you mark your measurements, it's good to use a wraparound, or in this case we're going to use a TIG wire. What's that?
332, right?
It's a 332. What you do is go around the pipe, bend it, and you come back right here. Right there. Are those 3 right there? Is it? No, hold on. Yeah, no, that. Alright. Alright guys, once you got that done, we're gonna get our center punch. Mark it. Alright guys, once we finish doing that, that's gonna give us a guide to where we're gonna get our fish mount to do the branch. And man, if you're gonna lay out your branch, don't forget, don't lay it out backwards, you know. So you're gonna measure from the end of the pipe 5 inches back or 6, whatever you want. And then from there, you're gonna start measuring out. Okay? Your fish mount, y'all make sure your pipe is straight. You don't want it at an angle like that. Cut it straight. And when you start, you want to start a little bit outside your line and come back, come to your line. Alright guys, now that we finished our cut, we gave it a light clean, we're gonna go ahead and mark it so we can start buffing out that paint. That's that. Alright guys, while he finished buffing all that off, we're going to go ahead and mark it for him. So from your number 4, you're going to grab it 4 fingers. Right here from your center of the 4 fingers, you're going to mark it. Boom. Same on this side, 4 fingers, mark it. 4 fingers, mark it. 4 fingers, mark it. So right here, we're just gonna give it a light grind, leave it a little bit even. So from the marsh down, that's where you're gonna start doing that bevel. Give us a nice bevel. Alright guys, once you finish doing the bevel, what you're gonna do, you're gonna sit your pipe on top of your 1 foot pipe on top of the 2 foot, and then you're gonna see you get a nice even gap. And then once you like it, you go ahead and get a 1/8 rod and sharpen it. Once you do that, you go on the inside and we're gonna start marking it. Nice and straight. Okay, and then right here on the ears, it's gonna come out on the outside. Do the same thing to the outside. Okay. Once you do that, you're gonna get a marker. Go ahead and follow your line. The reason we use a 1/8 rod is to get all the way to the inside of the ears. And yeah, man, get a finer line, and then all you gotta do is just go come back and hit it with the center punch. Alright guys, now we're ready to start cutting. Alright guys, now that we got a pipe bevel and we cleaned up the inside of our pipe, we're gonna go ahead and put our spaces. I like to use soldering wire. What I do is I cut 4 pieces and I put 2 on each side. And I'm gonna get my tape. Make sure don't roll on me. The reason I like using soldering wire is because if you tack one side and the other side is too big, all you gotta do is just hammer it down and the mold will come down easier than with a wedge. Now take the tape. Alright. Okay, what you want to check next is check the inside, make sure you ain't got no high-low. Once you got it closed, you can get ready to tack it. Alright guys, so ready to go ahead and tack it. We're going to give it 4 tacks, 2 on each side. And remember, you don't want to tack too close to where you're going to cut your strap. Alright guys, we did our first tack on this side. Now we're going to go ahead and tack it on this other side.